My name is Christian Beaker. This is my narrative for my historic site project assignment. You can follow along in the slides. We're starting with the statue of Thomas Jackson. Taking these tours was very interesting for me. America's history is inextricably linked to its history of slavery. Throughout our history, we see slaves struggle against their oppressors. We see some Americans fight to abolish it, while still others to maintain it. The echoes of this struggle continue in our lives today, with many being divided over the impact of slavery and how best to navigate the complicated cultural landscape it has left behind. With all this division, it has always been difficult for me to properly grasp the context of slavery in America's early history. What did our forefathers think and believe about slavery? There was much talk about abolishing slavery before the Civil War, but why didn't it happen earlier? What made so many so stalwart in their defense of slavery? What does the act of enslavement say about the characters of our forefathers? All these questions and more I have struggled to find answers to. You can move forward to slide 2 and then to slide 3. Our lecture spoke about some of the opinions our forefathers had about slavery. Many of them were morally opposed to it, sometimes very strongly, yet many of them continued to own slaves. George Washington did have slaves and he had them freed, but only until him and his wife had passed. So why not? Why were these morally upstanding men so hesitant to rid themselves of this pervasive evil? The answer to that, I believe, is threefold. For starters, I think that their values were misplaced. They held the health of their nation over the morality of its people. Thomas Jefferson believed that abolishing slavery might threaten the stability of the nation. I believe another factor was fear. Fear of confrontation, fear of inconvenience, and fear of dealing with the problem. Some men of the time looked to a future where slavery was abolished, but were unwilling to take steps towards that future, unwilling to pay the high cost of righting the wrongs of so many. Finally, I see the last reason as the saddest of all. It is apparent as we look through the opulent home, which is slides 4 and 5, of some long ago plantation owner in Tuckahoe. Greed. Many slave owners lived in opulence, or at least had much better means than they would have been able to otherwise. They exploited their fellow men for lucrative profit. I do not consider racism to be a reason for the early Americans. I believe that this idea of African Americans being an inferior race was created as a means to justify their enslavement, a way to salve the conscience of the slave masters. I hope to keep these realizations in mind as I continue in learning our history. As a reminder of what men are willing to do, a stern reminder of what fear can blind even great men to, and of how greed can twist otherwise admirable leaders into vile oppressors, and a reminder that this past is not long behind us, and that greed and fear still run rampant among us. Thank you for listening. Have a good day.